Hey there, it's Rhonda with Blind Awakening Art. So I'm just preparing a little 8 by 10 canvas today, and we're going to do a fun flip cup. So I've got a 4-ounce paper cup, and I'm just going to layer the paint in this cup. I've got a metallic silver that I'm going to start with. You have to remember that whatever color you start with is the color that's going to end up on the top after you flip the cup. So that's going to be your top color. That second color was a purple. That is a custom mix. I call it grape jelly. And then I just put in some black. Now I have a pearl white that I'm going to put in next. And these are just my only 4 colors that I'm going to use in this particular one. I'm just going to keep coming back and layering these colors in the same order, just little amounts. Now this is a flip cup, so it doesn't really matter if I just squirt that paint straight down into that cup or not. It's going to mix together a little bit that way. When we're doing a straight pour or a ring pour, we want to gently pour our paint into the cup down the side of the cup, just so that the layers stay on top of each other and don't really mix together. But with the flip cup, we really don't care about that. So we're just going to continue layering these colors, the silver, then the grape jelly, and then we've got the black. Now, these are my regular acrylic paints. These are pretty thin. These are actually liquid paints that I mix with my pouring medium that I make up. And they're actually ready to pour paints. And I just don't have very good luck with them, just using them straight out of the bottle. So I do add my own pouring medium. I do not use silicone in my stuff. That last layer was the silver, and I kind of covered the top of the paint with that. So now we're going to flip this canvas on top of this cup and hold the back of it there in the center. Flip the whole thing back over again and try to set it down on my spinner table and slide my hand out from under it without losing any paint out of the cup. Sometimes I can do that. This time there's a little paint that seeped out of there, but that's okay. So I'm just going to tap the cup a little bit just to try to get the rest of that paint from the bottom to kind of drip down onto the puddle that I'm creating underneath this cup. This is just a fun technique, you guys. There's not a whole lot to it. When you lift the cup up, you want to pull the cup away from you slowly, and then you can kind of drag the cup around just a little bit once you've lifted it completely off the top of the paint. That's going to spin off of there. Now, this time I decided to spin it. I could have tilted it. If you don't have a spinner table, that's fine. Just tilt it instead. But I find that I keep my pattern a little more if I spin it. Sometimes if I tilt it, I just end up tilting way too much. But that's just me. So I'm going to get my heat gun out here, and I'm going to try to pop the bubbles with my heat gun. I can't see if there's any bubbles, but I just do this as a precautionary measure just because we don't want bubbles. And a lot of times I don't see them. Even after I use the heat gun, there may still be some bubbles there. So I do end up with a few bubbles occasionally. So this is really a pretty colors. I just really like the look of these colors together. Let me give you a kind of a close-up look here. You can see some of the cells starting to form, and again, I don't use silicone. So these cells are just really a direct result of flipping the cup for one. It's the movement of the paint, the interaction of the paints as they slide across each other, and the pouring medium that I use. And then some paints, especially metallic paints, are going to be a little more likely to create some cells. It's how you layer the paint. There's just so many different variables with this art form, you guys. I don't know all the science, but I'm trying to learn. As I go, I'm learning more and more. And this is something that it's going to be an ongoing learning process. I'm never going to stop learning. And that's okay, because I love that. So I'm just going to spin it out a little bit here. I'm tilting it just to try to get it a little bit, the composition a little bit more in the center of the canvas before I start to spin. And you have to be careful. Now, I don't have any double-sided tape on the back of this canvas, but the paint that's on the spinner table that gets on the back of the canvas kind of creates a suction, and it will keep the canvas on the spinner. You can't spin it super, super hard because you could have a canvas that goes flying. I usually do everything inside of my puppy pool, so even if it does go flying, you know, it's not going to get paint everywhere. I honestly have to say that I've done it a few times, and my canvas has always landed right side up, which, knock on wood, you know, but this is kind of cool the way this one is turning out, you guys. It has kind of a galaxy feel to it, and you can see as I spin it, those cells are starting to stretch out. And we're gonna spin it again because there's still a lot of paint on this canvas, and you cannot leave too much paint on the canvas or your paint is going to crack as it dries, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that at all. So I really like the way that this one is turning out. And again, a flip cup, you know, anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. Just give it a shot. You know, if you don't get the cells that you're looking for, just experiment with your pouring medium. There's so many different recipes. The pouring medium that I'm using right now is a combination of American Floetrol, a little bit of Elmer's Glue All, some pre-mixed, pre-bottled pouring medium, and a little bit of Josanya Gloss Varnish. So that's the 4 ingredients that are in my pouring medium. There we go. There we have it. I think that we might be done here. It's a pretty cool looking piece. I'm going to try to pick it up and show you some details here if I can. And then there's going to be some still shots at the very end so that you can see once I took it off the spinner table. Look how cool that is. That purple just pops out there. I love the way the silver just kind of makes it, gives it kind of almost a hazy, soft look. I'm sorry, my dining room light is glaring in here. I just don't have the great lighting setup like some of the other artists do, but it's what I have for now. So let me take you in and show you some details, what it looked like after I took it off the spinner table. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Okay, here we go. Let me show you some up close. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and let's paint a world filled with beauty, inspiration, and hope.